How is it we can't have the 10 Commandments in Texas, but the Frisco ISD public school, Liberty High School, can have prayer rooms and nobody says anything?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's just the double standard of the left. But let's take a step back. What you just said out loud. Frisco, Texas, has now got Islamic prayer rooms. We've got to decide who we are as a people. We've got to start acting like it. This nation has been blessed because we are a Judeo-Christian people who formed a country that is a liberal in the classical sense, republic, liberal democracy, and we allow the full range of views to be discussed and for people to believe whatever they believe, and you and I would die on the hill to protect that.
God bless America. Why did we ask God to bless America? Because God gave America as a gift to humanity. Close to 250 years ago, America was discovered for only one purpose, so we should be the land of the free. That we come here to be free people. We get to practice religions, we get to dress the way we want, we get to think individually. And that's the whole idea of the land of the free. We cannot allow that to disappear. We work too hard to get where we are. We cannot allow history and influences to destroy this precious. God bless America.
The Islamification of Texas and the United States. What's going to be done? A new attitude from Governor Greg Abbott yesterday, and a new proclamation that came out and said enough is enough on CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. We're going to deem them terrorist organizations. We were just talking about what's happening with the 10 Commandments. And before we switch here, and one more thing on this Muslim thing in schools. We can't have the 10 Commandments, Chip. However, at Liberty High School in the Frisco ISD in Texas, they now have prayer rooms for Islamic prayers. How is it we can't have the 10 Commandments in Texas, but the Frisco ISD public school, Liberty High School, can have prayer rooms and nobody says anything?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's just the double standard of the left. But let's take a step back. What you just said out loud. Frisco, Texas. Frisco. My daughter was born in Frisco, Texas. Has now got Islamic prayer rooms. Okay? That should concern you. That should be troubling to everybody. And by you, I mean the listeners out there, in Texas listeners. And yes, this 10 Commandment case, it's judicial activism. The Supreme Court has upheld the ability to have the 10 Commandments displayed in public forum. Again, there's the 10 Commandments sits on the grounds at the Texas Capitol, a case, like I said, that Ted Cruz litigated as Solicitor General, working for then Attorney General Greg Abbott, Governor Rick Perry, and we won that case. And I think we will be able to win that case when it goes up and is no doubt and is being challenged in the Fifth Circuit, and then likely if the Supreme Court were to look at it. But I think the Fifth Circuit will side with past precedents and say that we can have the 10 Commandments. But look, we've got to decide who we are as a people.
You were saying a minute ago, that should concern you that there are prayer rooms in Frisco, Texas. It doesn't concern me that there are prayer rooms. What concerns me is this is a coordinated effort to bring Sharia law into our country. I don't care if you're Muslim and you come here and you respect the Judeo-Christian laws that we have. That's what our country was built on. That's where our laws are based on. And you say, this is a really great system because it allows me and everybody else to worship God of our understanding. But when you are part of a movement to subvert that law and to fundamentally transform the United States into something that it is not, that's when I have a problem. And that's when we should stand up. But that's one of the things that CARE does. CARE makes anything that we have said Islamophobia. And so they shout you down and make you afraid and try to paint you as a hater. I don't hate Muslims. I don't. I do despise Sharia law. And I despise anyone who comes here and wants to supplant the United States Constitution and replace it with Sharia law. that's a no-go zone. No, sorry, not going to do it.
And the history of Sharia law and the history of those adherent to it would suggest that that is the goal, and that is what we've seen borne out in countries across the world. So we should recognize that in carrying out our policies. And these activist judges, they are going to cede the ground, okay? In the name of the First Amendment, they're going to cede the ground with a supposedly secular society in, essentially genuflecting to Bill of Rights while walking away from God. They're going to cede the ground for a world in which we are going to invite those who wish to destroy America to have a front row seat right here to do it. And we've got to stop those judges, and we've got to act. And so, go back to my point. The House of Representatives should act on such an obvious case like Boasberg. We should appeal immediately, and I know that my religious liberty friends will do that on the Ten Commandments, and they're going to be litigating that, and I'm quite confident that the state will litigate that to defend the state law and to defend those schools. But then when you go to the redistricting opinion, like, it's really extraordinary. I don't know if you read the scathing rebuke of the two judges, but particularly the one judge, Judge Brown, by Jerry Smith, right, who was the dissenting judge in the three-judge panel. So for those who don't understand, when you have a case on the redistricting issues, right, it goes to a three-judge panel. And this three-judge panel it was a 2-to-1 opinion, and it was a Democrat appointed judge. It was a Trump-appointed judge, Judge Brown, and then Judge Jerry Smith, who's been on the bench for a long time, very respected conservative.
37 years.
Yes, and Jerry was basically cut out. They didn't do their normal deliberations. He wrote a scathing letter yesterday, in addition to then filing a dissent, because he was blocked out of the process. It was an extraordinary, essentially, power grab by the two judges just to ram this thing through. I don't think that the Supreme Court's going to take kindly to that. I think that this stay application that will be filed at the United States Supreme Court, I think by tomorrow, they filed the stay last night with the district in the district court, but I think they will go to the Supreme Court with a stay probably tomorrow. That's obviously up for Attorney General Paxton and Governor Abbott for them to strategize on the timing, but I think that's right. And I think the court, Judge Roberts, for his faults on many opinions, has been pretty good on race. You'll remember the Supreme Court opinion that struck down the abhorrent, language in Section 5 that was unconstitutional of the Voting Rights Act, and they cleaned that up. And in that opinion, Roberts said this divvying us up by race is a sordid business. That was his quote. And I think Roberts will be on the right side of this. I hope so, because this is very clearly a political exercise by the legislature. The judges tried to indicate that it was racial gerrymandering, and no, it's the opposite. Texas is trying to undo racial gerrymandering, which we believe is unconstitutional on its face. And you've got California out there who is taking 5 of the 9 Republican seats away. So it's currently 45 to 9? And it's now going to be something like 50 to 4. My numbers may be off 1 or 2. It's crazy. And then in Texas, we were trying to kind of rebalance it a little bit and add 4 or 5 new seats, a lot of growth in Texas. And now they're going to say that that's somehow not possible because we're somehow doing racial gerrymandering. We're undoing, I think, racial gerrymandering with a politically motivated goal of having more Republican seats in a very Republican state. So I hope the Supreme Court sees this for what it is and issues a stay. But, we'll have to see what they do.
Let me take you to Washington again. This Comey thing is driving me out of my mind because, once again, here's somebody who looks like he's not going to pay a price for anything. James Comey, a judge, has said that the government has screwed this up in gathering information and filing, and so now it looks like the Comey case is not going to move forward. Any thoughts on this?
Well, look, I've not had a chance to dive into this as deeply. I know that the district judge, Nachmanoff or whatever the judge's name was, pressed, this opinion forward, and pressed not the opinion, pressed prosecutors on the hearing. And I don't know what the exact result's going to be. This is a Biden appointee, and we're going to see what the result is. Obviously, Comey, we believe, lied to, I think, the Senate Judiciary Committee, among others, under oath, and that is, in fact, an indictable offense. And so, I'll go look and see whatever they're claiming in terms of, whether the grand jury got to see the final indictment or whatever these issues are. Obviously, as a former prosecutor, the procedures are important. You got to follow the procedures to do it right, but you also can't lose the forest for the trees. I think Comey, very clearly lied, and so we're going to, hopefully this will proceed. But that's about all I got on that one.
All right, Chip, thank you very much. If anybody wants to get involved in your campaign for Texas Attorney General, how do they do it?
ChipRoy.com, ChipRoy.com. You can follow me at ChipRoyTX on X/Twitter. And Glenn, always appreciate what you're doing out there. Thanks for being at the tip of the spear and the forefront of talking about this important issue about defending Western civilization and just all of the issues. I'm deeply appreciative.
I tell you, Chip, I've been saying it for a while since I wrote the chalkboard on what was going to happen, back at Fox days. And I said, all these people are going to gather and then they'll sort it out. Once they think they have it, they'll start eating each other. And you're starting to see that with the left now eating the Democrats. So Democrats are over and now it's just going to be Marxist. But it'll come down to the Marxist and the anarchist and the Islamist. And as I said then, in the end, it'll just be the Islamists against the Western world, because I would bet on people who believe something much more than the Marxists. These people have religious zeal, and they will eat the Marxist, and then it'll just be Western world against the Islamists. And I think, Chip, we are in World War III. We just have not declared it yet, and people haven't woken up to it yet. But we're at the beginning stages. You'll see history in 100 years from now will write that this is the 1930s, if you will. This is the beginning of a world war, and nobody has caught up with it yet.
The idea that Mr. Bibi Netanyahu, our prime minister, said, and this is what Mr. Glenn Beck, I believe, is referring to, that if we don't do something now, then it's going to end up in a neighborhood near you. And this is what Mr. Netanyahu made very clear. And when he was talking about the war that Israel has been fighting the last 2 years, since October 7, 2023, it wasn't a war just to secure Israel's border, because this wasn't a war about land. And that's what the world needs to wrap their mind around this and really open up your eyes and realize that the war on October 7 wasn't about Israel. You know, the Palestinians had 13 times an opportunity to declare statehood, and they never did. Between 1948 and 1967, they had plenty of land in Israel to declare statehood. They did not. And since 1948, there were 5 different times that they were given an opportunity to have statehood. But it's not about statehood. It's not about real estate. It's about something more sinister, something more painful, something more powerful, something more evil, something more dark. And that is the annihilation of the Jewish people and the Christian people and anyone who thinks Western. There's so much hate there, to such an extent that they believe that they have the right to kill, murder, decimate people who don't believe what they believe. Now, this is a religion that we must take notice. We must realize and recognize that this isn't a religion that's coming in peace. This is a religion that has proven itself to terrorize the world. We are just now studying in the book of Genesis the birth of 2 children, Jacob and Esau, twins. Jacob went in the direction of studying. He is an academic. He put his mind to studying life and to studying God and the world. His twin brother, they were both in vitro the same, but they were already polar opposites in vitro. And when they gave birth, Esau went to become a hunter, a killer. And the hatred between these two brothers were literally a baseless hatred. Sadly, that hatred continued on for generations to generations. Abraham had two children, Isaac and Yishmael. Isaac became the progenitor, the father of Jacob, the father of the Jewish people. Ishmael became the father of everyone else, of all the Arabs. And both polar opposites. Why? Why couldn't we just all believe in one belief system and not have such hatred in us? And I've heard many people who criticize this is all wars in the world was all about religion. Religion is so divisive, and there's so many millions of people died because of religion. And I always reflect, and I understand where they're coming from. And we do have the same question. What religion allows or supports the killing, the death of others because they don't believe? During the Spanish Inquisition, how many millions of Jews were killed because they didn't accept Christianity? Over the 2,000 years, how many Jews were slaughtered, murdered, killed, tortured because they didn't accept Christianity? Why was it okay to kill Jews because they didn't believe in Christianity? Why does one religion have to believe in the other religion? It's interesting that Judaism has a whole different perspective when it comes to religion. Judaism doesn't proselytize. We're the polar opposite. We're not going out there and telling the world, we're right, you're wrong. If you don't believe what you believe, you're going to die. Judaism doesn't proselytize. We don't go out looking to get others to believe what we believe. The reason for that is because we went through a journey. We were in bondage, we were enslaved for close to 200 years. Miraculously, Moses appeared to Pharaoh and got our exodus. After 10 amazing plagues where God showed his hand in a revealed way, people realized that there's a God in the world, and Pharaohs relented and let the Israelites leave. They left Egypt and they came to the Sea of the Reeds. And once again, God showed an amazing miracle, the splitting of the sea. And from there they went to Mount Sinai. And at Mount Sinai, there were 3 million, even they say more than 3 million people that were there. 3 million, it's a huge number of people. Were at the foot of Mount Sinai. And God descended from heaven. It's the first time the world ever saw God, the divinity. This is the great revelation. It never happened again. God revealed himself. And he presented the 10 Commandments and the 5 books of Moses. And at that time, God told the Jewish people, from here on, you are no longer enslaved in Egypt. From now on, we're going to be partners. I'm going to give you an opportunity, and I'm going to teach you these laws, but I'm going to require that you teach this to the world. I'm going to require that you become an example to the world. You become the people of the book and let people learn from you. And you're going to teach the world morals, ethics, that until then was non-existence. And here God empowered the Jewish people. Then they were just Israelites, now they became Jewish people, to be a light unto the nations. And he empowered them with the power of blessing. Just bless whoever you can. Whoever you bless will be blessed. And he said it's not going to be an easy journey. You're going to be the fewest. In Deuteronomy, God says, you're going to be the fewest of all the nations. But I'm always going to give you the tools that you need to succeed in completing your mission by being a light unto the nations and teaching the world the morals, the ethics, and the proper conduct, the meaning of life, the appreciation of one God, and letting the world worship just one God, monotheism, believing in one God only, and only you and God are connected. There's no one in between us. We don't need anyone in between us. It's you and God. There's a direct connection. You have a part of God in you, and that is your soul. And this is what our journey as a Jewish people has been. We have been here not to force others to believe what we believe. We are here to respect you and your religions. God created us all different, and that's okay to be different. God didn't create us all to be one color and one flavor, but God gave us all different roads. And the road that we grew up in, that's our road. If you grew up Jewish, that's your road, that's your lane. Stay in your lane, be Jewish, be proud of your heritage, get connected with your God and worship your God, be a devout Jew. If you are a Christian, God bless you. That's your road, that's your lane. Be proud of who you are. Just because Jews don't believe what you believe, it's okay. You by divine providence need to believe what you are brought up to believe in. And you should be a devout Christian, devout Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, Protestant, whatever it may be. Be it all in. If you are Muslim, be Muslim, believe whatever you need to believe in, believe whatever your ancestry taught you, as long as it's not to kill us and to convert us and to destroy us and to create havoc in the world and to terrorize the world with terrorism. The idea is that we are all living in this world together, to exist, to coexist together. We need to get through our minds that even though we have theological beliefs that are different from each other, it doesn't make us different. We believe differently, that's okay, because that's by divine providence, by design, how we're supposed to believe. But we don't kill each other for that. Islamophobia is not baseless hatred. Islamophobia is because of all the terrorism, how the world has been terrorized by Muslims. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the PLO, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah. These are all Muslims who are killing and terrorizing and torching the world. And they call it religion based on faith. We, the Judeo-Christian Alliance, have matured for over 2,000 years. It wasn't always like this. It wasn't easy to be a Jew in the presence of Christians. We were forced during the Spanish Inquisition to either accept Christianity or we die. Many Jews left the religion openly, but covertly they maintained them. Many Jews did die at the sword. It was terrible, difficult, dark times. But we have matured. We have moved on from those days, and we are now in the 21st century. The Judeo-Christian Alliance has never been as tighter as it is now. Christians began to appreciate and understand that the Jewish people are not bad people. That the Jewish people have been given the Ten Commandments by God. That the Jewish religion is the mother of all religions. That indeed, we don't despise Christians. We don't hate Christians. Christians should not despise Jews or hate Jews just because we don't believe in what you believe in. So we have arrived at the 21st century with a clear understanding that I go to synagogue on Saturday, you go to church on Sunday, and that's okay. We both pray to whom we got to pray, but we're both humans and we need to love and support each other. And if you truly look deep down, your religion is based on Judaism. We are a lot closer. We have much more in common than not. It's baseless hatred to anti-Semitism. But Islamophobia is not baseless, sadly. It's based on the terror that the world has seen in recent days, in recent years and decades. And the reason is because they don't want to come to the 21st century. They are stuck in the 8th century, 7th century, and they don't want to go further. We have to be one voice and say, wake up, guys. There's a new world out there, a world that we can't coexist with each other. So let's pray, and we hope that we can together have a strong voice and begin working with the clerics, begin working with the ayatollahs, and try however we can to bring the light of the 21st century to an ancient old death cult, that it's time for them to embrace life more than death. Let's pray and hope that that happens soon. God bless you. God loves you.